So welcome back to this series on designing a SmugMug website or a photo website from scratch using the SmugMug platform. In today's session, we're predominantly looking at a creating of a functioning web page and everything that we can do on it. Before we do that, though, like I do with all these sessions, let's do a little bit of housekeeping work to kind of bring us up to speed as well. So let's click into Organize at the top here. And then we're going to go into Boudoir Products and clicking into the gallery, which is products here. We mentioned that if you upload a CMYK product, it basically gives you a funny color. So obviously we want a RGB product uploaded into here. So if you've already placed the images and you've kind of rechanged the coloring on them, I would suggest that you don't rename the file, and basically if we go to upload and then we just grab our products, yes, that we had before. In this case, we've got new products here and we're going to drag them in. Now, what I've done is I've created the same file, I've just turned it into RGB. And as you can see here, SmugMug by default, in the method I just used, won't allow a duplicate file. And the quick way to update a file to kind of correct its color is if you click on to, instead of skip duplicates or allow duplicates, what I want to do is replace duplicates. And what that's going to do is overwrite the files that were there now. And basically, if they've already been placed on the website, they'll naturally be associated to it because I haven't changed the file name in any way. So obviously, if you were to upload a completely different image with a different file name, you have to go through the association and everything else. So that's number one done as far as that's concerned. And we want to work on, if we click back onto site again, if you remember on the last session, we made this fully custom scroll page. I want to create a vouchers page here. We created a kind of a holding page, as it were, so we could actually have the navigation in place, but there was no real essential element to it. You know, we could have told it to link back to the home page until it was built. But in this case, what we want to do is create a voucher page. However, because I want to show you one of the pre-built page designs that they have in SmugMug, we're going to ignore this page. Instead, we're going to go into Organize Page. And when you click onto Organize Page, you can see already it's already in the Pages folder here at the top, and you can see our gift certificates here. Okay, so there's a quick cheat. All right, so what I want to do is go into Settings, and I'm going to copy our gift certificates here, the title. And on the end of the custom URL, I'm going to just add a 1. And if I press save and I go to view this page, okay, we can see it's still there. If I click on the logo, which brings us back onto that home page, you can now see if we click on Portrait Vouchers, it goes to a page not found because we changed its URL, all right, which is good for us. Why? Because if we go into Organize Page and in the Pages part here, okay, we double click and we create a new page. So clicking onto Create and onto Web Page. And now what we want to do is go into the pricing, and we want to choose the likes of the list here. Okay, I'm going to press next. If I paste in the gift certificates into the title here, automatically the custom URL, if it's available, is made. If I click on Create now, okay, it's going to go into editing the page and so on with it. All right, you can see all the services running down the side. And if we just press done for 1 minute and we click back onto the front page, if I now come down and I click on the Portrait Vouchers page, because we copied the title and hence it made that URL identical to what it was before, instantly we've got a new page. Why is that useful for us? Well, you might be working on a new price list, some new information, or in this case a new voucher page, and whilst you're doing that, you've also got the original still visible. It means that you could create yourself a new working page invisible. So in other words, people can't see it. And then when you're ready to make it live, you just swap the URLs and straight away all the navigation will work in the same way. If you remember what we've been doing though, there's two ways to navigate. You can either select a page within the actual SmugMug environment, if you're kind of using the likes of navigation along the top here, yes. Or you can basically put in, when you're linking from a photograph, you have to put a URL. So we've seen that it works from the front page. If we click on this Our Gift Certificates here, what it does, it goes to the old page. Okay, why? It's because if we go into the customized design and we look in the entire site, okay, so this entire site is in red here, so let's click on entire site, yeah, and then from here if we go into links and we go to Our Gift Certificates, if we click on this, you can see what we did was there's the title, but the link was to a certain page. So that's good and bad. It means that if you want a secret page somewhere and you have a way to actually in a navigation that basically goes via a page link, it means that whatever you call that page, okay, it's going to go there because you've associated it to it and things. All right. So in this case, what I want to do is, in this case, we want to choose a different page and we want to go to, in this case, in pages, and we want the Our Gift Certificates. Okay. So it's this one here. I'm going to press done. And if it's from the front page, of course, we would click on the open link in new tab. But because this is not on the front page, because we built a separate navigation on the front page, we go done and publish now. And as long as I've linked to the correct page now, it goes to the one that we want. And this is the one that we want to work on. Okay, so first of all, let's come back into organization. Let's go into the site-wide images and we want to upload some new vouchers. Okay, in here I've got two folders of vouchers here. So I'm just going to grab those over the screen a minute, going to click on upload, and I'm going to click on upload folders. In this case, just by, oops, stop it, Mark. Just by dragging these two in, it now uploads. And as it uploads the folders, of course, what it's doing, it's creating two lots of galleries at the same time. One was the gallery for the vouchers 2023, and one was a vouchers for launch and pre-launch. So by doing that, once it's uploaded these vouchers, we're then going to see it's created two galleries within here. So by default, if we click on one and we go to settings and we look at security and sharing, you can see it's public and anyone. And we don't really want that to be. So the only thing that we have to do when we upload them in that way is click onto the gallery presets and you go into site design. That's one that we created in session 1. At this point, of course, I'm going to go into copy in the descriptions, put in the metadata, because remember, this is all a part of our SEO, boudoir, vouchers, offers, portraits, collections, specials. Okay, click into the feature image and I'm already into that gallery. We'll click onto one of them, press in done, press save, and then we've done that. I've got to do the same with the other one, of course. click into vouchers, and again vouchers, boudoir, portrait, offers. Clicking onto the presets for site design, clicking on the feature image, pressing done. And what we've done is made those now invisible. So if we just kind of click onto them, settings here, you can see in security, it's public anybody, photo protection is on the right click, social, there's no sharing, shopping is off, appearance is in the landscape, which is by default and things. But if I wanted to make the image invisible, as it were, they couldn't kind of search it or see it, then I can actually just turn it to unlisted, anyone with a link. Okay, going to press save. And then we're pretty much ready to do our vouchers page. So I'm not going to spend time on the text, as it were. What we're going to do is basically just go to the products. Yes, so images. Where are we doing? Site-wide images. We're looking at vouchers for launch or vouchers now. Let's say we're going to launch the business, and we've got a special there running. Click on it once, pressing done, and that comes up with the image. Obviously, whatever is on this offer, I'd recommend that you also mimic the info that is on here. This is going to be good for SEO as well. And because we're using the smug mug design, this is allowing there we go, that one. This is allowing the voucher to be referenced in the kind of the space that we want it as such, really. Yeah. So it's basically launch offer Diva. And this is going to be 250, and obviously you would put below here what's included, sexiness about the actual text and so on with it. But one of the great things about using a pre-built design, of course, as you can see, is that you have the option to kind of really change it. Once you've kind of put in whatever you want to do, of course, then you're probably going to have different options anyway, like a £500 one, a special. And this would be, once more, done here, clicking into here, and this would be Diva 500. Give it a sexier name than that, please, yeah. But again, what you want to do is actually just fill in the text and so on with it. If and you're probably going to have around about 5 different types of voucher anyway. Remember, as far as the business front is concerned, never be afraid to include a product within it, especially for wall. The reason being is that obviously the likes of boudoir, as a rule, tend not to buy big wall art or multiple wall art. So you could actually include, you know, money to spend on those kind of things without any trouble. If you've got too many products, as I began to say, you probably actually have about 5 different vouchers within here. And then if you've got too many, I'd add on a thing like a custom, and then kind of a voucher box perhaps, and postage, etc., or the creme de la creme special. If you've got too many products on here, though, what you will need to do is basically just go in then and remove those products, yeah? And just going through it. All I'm going to do, though, is just quickly add in a few more of those vouchers. You'll obviously have a little bit more time, and you'll decide on what your vouchers are going to be of. Different values, different things. Perhaps it is one for couples, one for perhaps a more special offer around the likes of, I don't know, a Love Island, or some special kind of club girl age group, special birthday ones, and so on with it. Yep. But of course, really what we want to make sure, though, is that on your page, this basically has a buy now link. So even though we're creating the page, you want to do one of two things. So you want to either put in a buy now, yes, and then you would basically click it off to wherever you're going to be going to. So this would link to your PayPal or wherever is your kind of paying out, and you want that there. Or of course you want a, we want to add in a button. I tend to encourage you to do a button, navigation and a button below. And this would be buy launch offer voucher, £99. And of course, in the same thing that we've done before with navigation buttons, we can make it small or big, small by default, solid color or outline design, whichever you want. I want solid. We can put a accent in the color. We can move it into the center or over onto the right design. We can go to a URL, a page design, or wherever it's going to. So in this case, we're just going to go to a browse page, but it would obviously go to somewhere where you're going to buy it from. And then just pressing done. And then, of course, you would do exactly the same navigation button, drag in, wait for the green line, drop it below, follow the by Diva launch. What do we buy launch offer? So this is buy launch. Don't get that confused with lunch, of course. Buy launch Diva voucher offer. Mimic the price. Remember, keeping in the same look and feel, accent, right hand side. Remember, it's going to go to the same place. I'm just putting the browse page for now. Just going to press done. And so all of these then will look the same. Once we hit done, of course, we publish. What we want to do, we want to check our gift certificates, reboots us to this page. We want to go to the home page. We want to actually click on the portrait vouchers. We want to make sure that everything works in that way. Remember, if you've got a different parts on the front page, which is buy now or book now, it's better to actually use the kind of the URL where possible, because you know that's where it's going to be going to. So finally in this session, let's just look at what we can do on a page. So we went into the organize, and we went into the pages. And if you remember, we had this other page called our gift certificates, which didn't have anything called in there. So if we double click into it and we now click on edit page design, this is a blank page, okay, nothing on it except for what is on the entire site. So you can see this is the no social icons are selected at prayer present, but we put it on there. So it's just waiting for us to click them on to actually make them live, as it were. What do we want to do? Well, let's look at now the content. First things first, as far as the layout of the page is concerned, I've got a choice to keep to the fixed size, the layout, which in this case by default is 960, or I can turn it into what is referred to as stretchy, where it kind of goes across the whole page. All right, that is your choice, and it will change its design time and time again and everything else. So if we just go back to fix for a minute, and then as far as the background, we can either inherit the entire site design, or we can choose a photo, a video, a slideshow. We can even change its color and theme. But if you remember, we wanted that site-wide Zoe in white and pink, which we did in the last session. In content, though, this is really what we want to do. And this is about learning what we can physically do on a page. So the first things that you can do on a page is that you can add a single photograph. Yes. So we're just going to go and choose quickly an image. So there's our single photograph. We can change its size, we can change its look, we can change its position. Okay. We can also go in and we can add in multiple photographs. Let's just drop it below. We don't want a title, but you could put 50 Shades of You, and then changing the size, design, whatever you want to do. Single gallery, so I could go in now and actually choose the gallery, go into images and portfolio. What do I want to do? Let's use the confidential, pressing done. And now this automatically populates with all of the gallery photographs. You can also see there's an action on click. What do we want to do? So action on click is either none. So with none, if you touched a photograph, clicked on it, nothing happens. If you were to select go to gallery, that would open up the gallery itself, or we can open in Lightbox. I'll show you what I mean now. Okay, so let's use this one to open in gallery and pressing done. By the way, as far as the display is concerned, you also can change the spacing between the images. Let's make it extreme for a minute so you can see it change. Yes, the default is none or 1 pixel, in fact. And you can also, in the pagination, you can actually scroll or click through and things. So that's really down to yourself. Let's hit done. And let's go and do the same thing. We're going to add in multiple photographs again now. But in this case, we're not going to give it a title. And then you'll see actually how it misplaces itself. I don't want a single gallery. I want to go to photos I choose. So in the choose photos now, I can still go to that same gallery or obviously another one. And I could go ahead and actually just choose images that I want to select. All right, and that goes here. So it's in grid layout, but I could actually turn it into a vertical, so they stack. I could go into collage and the landscape. I could put them into a collage portrait. So in other words, collage landscape gives the priority to the landscape images to make them bigger. Collage portrait gives a preference in size to the vertical images within the site itself. Photo size, again, you can choose its size. That's really down to yourself. And as far as the display is concerned, once more, you've still got the options to kind of control what you want to do here. Okay, so pagination is click, number of photographs, all, auto perhaps, and we're pretty much done. So that's the first thing we did, a single photograph, a gallery. So if I just change the name for a minute, just so we can remember. So gallery. This is multiple photos chosen or selected. Okay. We can go in and basically add a slideshow. So remember, when we grab it and we drag it, where's it going to go? Now these two are in 2 columns together, so it doesn't matter if I kind of put it above this one or above this one, it's technically the same place. In this case, we're going to choose a gallery, back into portfolio. We'll just check on that one for now. And then in this case, we've got the same options that we've kind of seen before. So in the playback, what's it going to do? Remember, this is a slideshow. Pressing done. We can choose a speed, a fade, a transition, a randomize images, which I usually do by default. If you've got a studio image that you want to be the first one no matter what, then you can click on the splash image, go to whichever gallery that you want, and then you choose that image. that is going to be your main image to start with, and you can show how long to delay it by 3 seconds. And what I'd recommend, probably because you're going to put good SEO metadata into each image before you upload them, I'd probably actually click the captions off, to be honest. And as far as the controls, it's whether you want navigations on, play button, or full screen on. Let's kind of leave all those on for now and just going to press done. So within a page already, we've got a single photograph. Yeah, single photo. We've got a slideshow. We've got a gallery with all its images. We've got multiple photographs chosen from, in this case, just one gallery, but we could choose them from the different amount of galleries that we want. And then, of course, we can also pop in the likes of a carousel. Let's just do that one. Do you want to choose it for a gallery, popular photographs, recent photographs, or photos I choose? So if we just put in recent photographs, okay, this is going to be weird, because if you did that, remember we just uploaded the vouchers, that's what it's going to change. Okay, so that's really why we don't want to be doing that. But what you could do, though, is go to a photos I choose, and when we go into choose photographs, then perhaps you're using the likes of the site-wide images, and we go into the launch, and we go the 99, the 250. Choose a few of those, pressing done. And then, so you can see I've chosen 5 photographs here, height, content aware as well. As far as the controls is concerned, what do I want to do? Navigation arrows on, probably, or the auto scroll speed is there. So I can just go to slow, medium, fast, whatever. I can go into loop images on and randomize images again. And then basically if I click onto done, that is done. But probably because this is linked into the vouchers, let's change its size, in fact. So in the basics, let's change to the height of 25%. And that's going to change the whole carousel now. But what you probably want to do is, with this kind of thing, is once more navigation button, and go to see our launch offer voucher. Capital O, because the others are there. And then we want to go into where? We want to go into page I choose. Choose the item. Remember, we're going into pages, and we're going into our gift certificates. Going to press done. And then open new link. We don't need to do that at all, especially when they're into a buy-in navigation mode. And remember, we can turn it from default to accent to kind of bring a little bit more punch. In this case, we're going to put it into the center. I'm going to press done. So what we've got here already now is a single photograph. We've got a slideshow. We've got a carousel. I'm just putting these on there here so you can remember them. We've got a navigation button. We've got a gallery. We've got multiple photographs. What else can we put onto a page? In fact, if you kind of scroll down now, you can add a navigation menu in here. So in other words, you know, like we put the see our launch offers here. And if you didn't want a button, I think button's better, to be honest, but you could have actually a navigation by £99 launch voucher. So let's do it, in fact, instead of talking about it. So in the menu part, what are we going to have? We're going to drag it into below. And we're going to, in the links, we're going to just delete those fast and then click plus. The reason I clicked away from those, because by default, they've got a link to where you want them to go to. I don't want that. So in this case, I want to go to buy £99 launch voucher. I'm just going to copy those a minute. and we're going to go to the page I choose the page, pages. Obviously I could have just linked into the URL. Do I want to put the open link? No, I don't. Remember, because it's going to a direction, and we want to leave everything else behind at this point because they're into a buy-in mode. And then we just kind of click as well into here, just change that into the £200 launch voucher offer, go into page I choose the page, and in case you're confused, remember our gift certificate one is the new one that we created, not the one that we created at the beginning of this series. And then once more, go back and let's go into the here, buy £200 couples launch, back into the page, choose the page, done. Okay, so let's centralize this as well, and in the basics we'll put center, we'll put into text size is going to be very large, or let's go into large. We want the accented, and we capitalized, sublink, that's okay, top link separator is on, claps from the mobiles off. I'm going to press done to that. Let's put this though now above the carousel. So all I'm going to do is grab the kind of the 4 arrows and drag it up and let go, and that actually puts it to the new position. If you wanted a little bit of a design element on the page, let's say. Now, before I forget, remember, all we're showing you is things that we can do on a page. All right, I'm not showing you good page design a minute. I'm showing you things that we can actually do on the page. So as far as the design element is concerned, if we click on design, we can use a separator. So just actually looking for the drop arrow and the green, and that comes up with this little line. Okay, this line is what we want it to be, the height. This is actually a spacer. So in other words, if I go to 50 on here a minute, you can see actually what we've done is separate away from the actual slideshow above. If I want to go in and put a spacer involved, this is a true spacer. This is making sure that things are separated from each other. To be fair, I don't usually put a spacer up here. I usually put a spacer at the bottom of the page before we get to the terms and conditions. This is technically a line, all right? So we just want this to be about 5 pixels to kind of separate them off. Let's just go and do another separator above the actual carousel. Same thing, 5 pixels. And this will give a little bit of a kind of an accent in towards here. It goes without saying that we can go in and basically now add in text, and we can drag text into the side of anything. Let's just copy some text, paste it in. Oop, wrong button. Remembering that it doesn't allow for kind of returns down. You do have to actually go in and basically just return down to actually give the spaces back and everything else within things. So decor red there. Thank you. And this is the kind of the text. We can obviously go into the text and say, okay, I want these a little bit bigger. I want to emphasize the portrait sessions here. So I put bold on, perhaps italic as well. And I want to actually change the font here to perhaps a bigger size. Let's go to size 3. And then you can see on the page what it's doing. You do have to obviously just take that little bit of time to actually work everything. What I would do though is basically choose maximum of 3 different font sizes, but on a page I would pretty much keep it to 2. So in other words, anything that you really want to bring kind of notice to, in this case header 3, And what we're going to do below is we're going to turn these into header 4. Okay, and then all we've done then is basically created ourselves some kind of nice simple design. There is a saying called "keep it simple, stupid," which refers to kind of just before you do something to a page or a graphic or whatever it is, stop doing it, look at it and think, do I really need to actually do it as such? So we've added in text, we've added navigation. We can even add in a breadcrumb, which if you've watched the series, I'm not a fan of as far as the navigation is concerned. But pretty much we've put on here most of what you want. If you've got social icons, we already know we've got those at the bottom of the page. If you haven't put them in already, it's basically just clicking them on and putting your URL actually into this position, and then it's basically done. And as far as discovery, search boxes, keywords is something that you might want to do. I don't think that's necessary. But as far as one of the main things that we're going to do on the next session is creating a page and a competition page. And that's what we're going to do. So if we press done now and we publish, remember, this is the old gift certificates page, so it's not visible. Is it visible at all? Well, it is visible to us. If you're worried if it's visible, if you just go into settings, security, and you click on here and you turn it to private, this means that nobody can see that page. And if there was a link to this page, URL link or a reference to it, it's basically for a fraud. It will just not be found as such. So as you can see here, what we've got is still our original navigation. We put ourselves a single photograph. We've got a slideshow running. We've got some text. We've got some navigation as buy now buttons. We put a carousel in there to make it interesting as far as the offers are concerned, and that will change by itself. We put a button link to go to a buy now page. We chose the galleries, and if we click onto this shuts down this page and it goes to the gallery. Now remember, at this point, because it's showing buy this photograph, the client won't be able to buy this photograph. I'll show you again in a minute when we're logged out. This is only because we're in owner's view. So I click on that one for a minute and we come into the gallery itself. What I would say is if you are allowing any links to a gallery, you should change the gallery across pretty much all of your galleries. Why? Because you definitely want to add links on these pages to be able to go somewhere else, because what we did is by going off to a gallery, we literally shut down any of the customization. All this is now, they're in pretty viewpoint. Okay, we will look at it as logged out now in a minute. So in other words, if they go back to the site and they would click through into the portrait vouchers, and they come into this page, we can see it here. All right. If we go back into site and we go to organize and we go into pages, wrong button, sorry, into pages, and we click into this our gift certificates. So at this page, we can actually change its title to dummy page, what's on it. Yep. Then we just pay, that's TP1. Just copy that link a minute, pressing save. So when we go into here now, and we go to view this page, this is all the reference. So because we clicked on this, it goes elsewhere with it. If we click on the multiple photographs, the same thing happens again. We're going off to it. How do we change that? Okay, so if we go back into this page, and if we go back into the custom design, and if we click onto this here, and your bedboat, it was go to gallery, what we want to do is open in Lightbox instead. Going to press save, or done I should say. We click into here, photos I choose, go to gallery. No, we don't want to be doing that. We want to open in Lightbox. press in on that one and then done. If we just press done now, okay, so the difference being now is that when we clicked on an image before, it went to the gallery that we saw. In this case, what it does, it just opens up the image and it stays on this page. We'll see it now when we're in the logged out mode, okay? But it's basically going to somewhere else. Let's in the multiple photos. In fact, we should just log out a minute, because I want to show you that this page is now visible. Okay, so remember I copy the link, so even with a link it will not allow us to actually get in. So we need to log in to be able to actually see that. Remember, this is just a dummy site that we're using to create this series. So now when we go to it, if we go to settings and we go to security and sharing and we go to public or unlisted, we press save. If I copy that link now, and then I basically log out again. Okay, so we're here. So if I went back to this, there's no way to find that page that we went to because there's nowhere that it links through and so on with it. Okay, it's not going anywhere at all. So if we put in the link now to the DP1 page, and if we then scroll down for this what's on a page kind of thing, and we click into this image, it opens it up. And you can see at this point that it's visible to buy. So we need to change that. That's why it's so important to ensure that you set up the site and then you test it as if you don't own the site. There's so many little mistakes made that you're not fully checking it like a consumer. You always look at it on the kind of the stayed in mode, as it were. So let's go into here. Let's refresh there to kind of log myself back in again. Go into organize. So in the images and portfolio here, confidential settings in shopping, you can see it's on. We need to switch these off. Why? Because basically if we don't, then people can still buy it. So what we do on this one, so if we go into sheet settings and we see in shopping that it's switched on, we might have just forgot to apply the preset to a gallery. So shopping, you can see that all these are done. So it means that we had actually done the job right. We just, when we made that confidential one, we hadn't applied the shopping offers, as it were. Let me just check in these. I actually don't need to do the individual, but I wanted to just see if I'd made a mistake. No, it was only on that one we made a mistake with, okay? So if I wanted to apply a correction to all of the galleries at once, if there's nothing clicked on, we can click on settings and we've got a choice to either do folder or all galleries within folder. In this point, when we click on this and we click on shopping, we can basically go into shopping cart and switch it to off, okay? And that applies it to all of those galleries. So I didn't have to go into the individual one to do it, but again, it's just good practice there to kind of just go through. So in this case, if we refresh the page now, because it would have cached, and now we actually click onto the image, you can see it doesn't have the option to buy anymore. If you didn't want the client to be able to view the images as big as they are, yes, so remember at this stage we can set settings and folder security, settings all galleries within folders even. So in the security part, what we want them to do, photo protection, what size, all but original. Let's say they can only go to an iPad Retina ×4 and that's it. I'm just going to press save. Right click message is going to be on all the time, of course. Yep. And then we come back to our page. We have to reset that page, of course. Then we click on it, and you can see it's still low enough now in resolution to be able to actually show it through and things really. So what we did though is we showed you how to change the navigation when we create a new page. We talked about a quick way to duplicate a page or create a new page and then change its URL. We then looked at a page from scratch and looked at actively what we can actually put onto a page. And then that was a single photograph, a slideshow, some text with 2 different sizes of font, a spacer bar. We put a new navigation bar on with a link, another spacer bar. We showed you a carousel with the ability to be able to actually have a launch offer, the likes of button to go somewhere else. Then we looked at adding a gallery on or selected images on. We turned it from being able to view a gallery to be able to actually view the individual image. And that was it. So that's another one. So in the next session, as I said, we're creating a proper page, a landing page, as if you're running a competition.